We start with the significant breaking news this evening. The Premier League's rules governing sponsorship deals from the period between 2021 and 2024 are void and unenforceable, a tribunal has ruled.
After proposed deals with Etihad Airways and First Abu Dhabi Bank were blocked in 2023, Manchester City took the Premier League to court. They claimed that the league's APT rules around commercial deals clubs do with parties linked to them were unlawful. Now, thank goodness our chief reporter, Kaveh Solhekol, is here to explain what all this means.
Well, look, this is a very significant development in the ongoing legal disputes between Manchester City and the Premier League. The background to this is that Manchester City have felt that big parts of the Premier League's financial rules are unlawful. And the biggest part they've had an issue with are the associated party transaction rules. Now, these are rules which govern sponsorship deals which clubs do with parties who are linked to them. So, for instance, if you want to do a deal with a company whose owners are executive or part owners of your own club, then the Premier League looks at these deals and makes sure that they are of fair market value, that they are not inflated, so that you're not doing deals which end up with more money coming into your club, which means that you can spend more money on players, transfers and wages, for instance. Now, Manchester City challenged these rules, and in September last year, the same three-personal tribunal found that three aspects of these rules were unlawful. Now, at that stage, Manchester City's position was the tribunal has found that three major parts of these rules are unlawful. That means all the rules are void and unlawful. You may as well throw them in the bin. The Premier League's position was, OK, we note what the tribunal have said. They have said that three parts of these rules are unlawful. We can rewrite these rules quickly. We can get the clubs to vote on these amendments, and that is exactly what they did. And in November, the clubs voted on the amendments. The rules were changed in three key respects. And the Premier League, to this day, still believe that the rules are lawful and enforceable as they were amended in November. And the Premier League's position is that the tribunal's judgment today has to do with the rules as they were before the rules were amended in November. So between 2021 and November 2024. But Manchester City's position has been very, very consistent. All along, they have said these rules are unlawful. And again, they've challenged the amended rules. And I think we now have to wait and see what the tribunal says about the amended rules. So we know the rules between 2021 and November 2024, they were unlawful. Let's wait and see what the tribunal says about the rules which were amended in 2024 November, just a few months ago.
OK.
I hope that's clear.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, is this a victory for Manchester City tonight?
Look, I think if you're a Manchester City supporter, you will definitely be very pleased. You will feel very vindicated. You will say that Manchester City have been backed into a corner. They have always been very, very consistent. They believe that these rules are unlawful. And for instance, one of the reasons they believe these rules are unlawful is when they do a deal, for instance, with Etihad Airways, they have to submit that proposed rule to the Premier League, and the Premier League has to decide using external advisors. They have to decide whether that rule is fair market value. Now, what Manchester City is saying is we've got a situation where clubs are getting interest-free loans from their owners. There's lots of clubs who are getting interest-free loans from their owners. Surely those loans should also be subject to fair market value tests, because it's unfair. That's surely an associated party transaction if an owner of a club is just lending his club hundreds of millions of pounds interest fee. And I think they've been proven to be absolutely right. So those rules are being amended. Going forward, if a club owner wants to lend his own club money interest-free, that is not possible. It has to be at fair market value. So I think Manchester City have already secured some very, very significant victories. And I think they're very confident that these amended rules will also be proved to be unlawful by the tribunal. But I think the Premier League's position is, let's wait and see what the tribunal says, because these rules were amended in November.
But I mean, is there any point looking forward and saying if the amended rules are also found to be unlawful and unenforceable, then the Premier League is in a bit of spot of bother?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If that happens, then the Premier League is in a spot of bother. I mean, you've got a bit of a sort of, unique situation. I know, speaking to some of the Premier League owners, especially the ones from America, they can't quite understand why one of the Premier League clubs itself is challenging the rules of a league that they are a member of. But you have to say Manchester City are well within their rights to do that. They believe they have been targeted unfairly. They believe the rules are unlawful. They have secured some significant victories along the way in this ongoing legal dispute with the Premier League. But I think we have to wait until the final judgment from this particular tribunal. But make no mistake, if you're a Manchester City fan this evening, you'll be saying this is a significant victory. We've proved once and for all that the associated party transaction rules between 2021 and November 2024 were unlawful.